Hey, this is Sean Hess, your broker extraordinaire. This week's training video is going to be really isn't even a training video. It's like a training tidbit on contracts. Now, we're not attorneys, so we're not giving legal advice here. And if there's anything you don't understand on a contract, I mean, basically, when you present a contract to a buyer or seller, you can tell them what it says. You can't tell them what it means. And this gets into our training tidbit today. Okay, you've got seller receives an offer, and it comes in a contract, and you have, say, $160,000 is the list price. Well, if you cross that $160,000 out, you're going to put back in, let's say $170,000, because again, this is the seller. It's the same way with anything else on a contract. If there is a clause in a contract that somebody wants crossed out, then that might not necessarily be good enough to be enforceable. So in other words, if you cross something out in a contract, just like you would a price, you put a new price in, when you cross out a paragraph, the seller will have a reason, or the buyer will have a reason for wanting to do that. So on the addendum, or on those blank lines at the end of the contract, you write in what their intent was in plain English. So I think I used an example on an earlier video from a meeting we had. If it's title insurance, seller doesn't want to pay for title insurance, and they cross it out. Well, that still might not be good enough. So what you want to put in, what you want to write in is, seller will not pay for owner's title insurance policy. Period, the end. It's plain English, that's all you need to do. So if there's anything you cross out, you add something back in plain English, just telling what the seller's intent, and if the buyer signs it, it'll be the buyer's intent too. Backup contracts, you cross it out, say no backup, or we'll accept backup contracts, and you cross that out. Well, then put somewhere in the addendum, seller will not accept backup contracts, or buyer will not accept backup contracts. So when you cross something out, just put it back in. That's pretty straightforward and simple. And if they ask you, well, that means then that I'm not paying for title insurance, or that means I can't accept backup contracts, you say, no. That's just what we said, but an attorney would need to interpret that. I can't tell you what the courts are going to say. You're going to have to talk to an attorney and tell them if that's what it indeed means versus says. But what you're trying to do is just what a contract, when realtors create a contract or fill in the blanks on a contract, and the sellers and buyers, the only thing we're trying to do is create ground rules for the transaction. We can't say whether those ground rules will hold, but we're just trying to get everybody's ideas on paper. And that's really what the contract is for, to get their ideas on paper. That's it. Have a great day. Hope this training helped a little bit. Just remember, when you cross something else, put something else back in.